Across the world, there are towns that were never meant for ordinary residents, but built entirely for scientific research. From simulated cities designed to test new technologies to isolated communities studying extreme environments, these unique places serve as living laboratories. Join me, I'm going to explore 15 of the most fascinating towns created solely for research. Starting with number 15. Tsukuba Science City is a unique integration of academia, industry, and government efforts to advance human knowledge. Its model of urban planning focused on research and innovation continues to attract leading minds from around the world. This city is located in Ibaraki Prefecture in Japan, and it's a remarkable example of urban planning dedicated entirely to scientific research. Situated about 37 miles northeast of Tokyo, this carefully designed city spans over 109 square miles and integrates academia, industry, and government into a cohesive network. The foundation science and engineering, biological and agricultural science, and public facilities. Notable institutions within the city include the High Energy Accelerator Research Organization, which conducts groundbreaking work in particle physics, and the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology, that's a leader in robotics and energy tech. The National Institute for Materials Science also stands out for its contributions. At any given time, it hosts about 7,500 foreign researchers and students from 133 countries. That diversity creates a unique environment where cross-cultural collaboration thrives. Among its notable achievements are the identification of molecular structure on superconducting materials, the development of organic optical films for electronics, and the construction of extremely low-pressure vacuum chambers. These breakthroughs highlight the city's role as a global leader in scientific innovation. Number 14. Songdo, South Korea. Songdo, officially known as the Songdo International Center of its area devoted to green spaces. Central to this vision is the Songdo Central Park, a 100-acre urban oasis inspired by New York City's Central Park, complete with water features fed by a tidal system. A hallmark of its innovation is its integration of technology into daily life. Major buildings meet or exceed LEED standards, making it a pioneer in green construction in Asia. The city's pneumatic waste disposal system eliminates the need for garbage trucks by transporting trash through an underground network, separating recyclables automatically. This system, coupled with smart infrastructure, makes Songdo a globally recognized hub for sustainable urban living. Songdo is home to an international university campus housing branches of prestigious institutions like the State University of New York, George Mason University, and Ghent University. These campuses attract students and researchers from around the world, and it promotes academic collaboration and innovation. In addition, the city hosts the Green Climate Fund, an international activity. Number 13. Kjeller, Norway. Kjeller is a small village located 15 miles northeast of Oslo in Norway. It is a place unlike any other. While most towns grew around trade or agriculture, Kjeller was built for science. This village, with its unassuming hills and modest population, has become a focal point for cutting-edge research. Its creation and evolution reflect Norway's commitment to innovation and progress in some of the most advanced scientific disciplines. The story of Kjeller begins in the early 20th century with the establishment of the Kjeller Airport. Originally serving as a base for aviation, the site would later be transformed into a hub for technological advancement. The most significant development came in 1951 with the construction of Norway's first nuclear reactor, the Jeep-2. This reactor, built as part of a joint project with the Netherlands, positioned Norway as a pioneering nation in nuclear research. The Jeep-2 reactor wasn't the only facility to call Kjeller home. Over the decades, the village became quality and climate change. Kjeller's role in global science cannot be overstated. Its seismic monitoring systems at Norsar were among the first European nodes of ARPANET, the precursor to the Internet, showcasing the village's early contributions to IT. Even in the realm of nuclear science, where reactors are no longer operational, the expertise developed at Kjeller continues to influence research and policy. Number 12. Ny-Ålesund, Svalbard, Norway. Ny-Ålesund, located on the Brøgger Peninsula of Spitsbergen in the Svalbard archipelago, is the northernmost civilian settlement on Earth. Unlike typical towns, it was designed not for habitation or commerce, but for research. Surrounded by the beauty of the Arctic and perched on the edge of the Kongsfjorden, it's a hub for international scientific study. The settlement's origins date back to 1917 when it was established as a mining town by Kingsbay Coal Comp, a company founded by Peter Brandel. Coal mining, however, proved both housing a small airport and the Svalbard rocket range. These facilities are intentionally designed for science, enabling robust data collection in one of the most pristine environments on Earth. Ny-Ålesund's importance lies in its location. At nearly 75 degrees north, it offers access to the high Arctic ecosystem, including glaciers, tundra, and fjords. Projects like the Norwegian Polar Institute's long-term studies and the American National Science Foundation's glacier research reflect the diversity of scientific efforts concentrated here. The cliffs around Kungsfjorden are home to dense bird populations, particularly waders, and the surrounding tundra supports the Svalbard reindeer, Arctic foxes, and polar bears. The polar bear presence requires constant vigilance, and firearms are mandatory for safety. Ny-Ålesund operates with an unusual degree of international cooperation. Representatives from the participating institutions meet regularly under the Ny-Ålesund Science Managers Committee to coordinate research and infrastructure use. This structure. Number 11. Alert, Nunavut in Canada. Alert, Nunavut, located on the northeastern tip of Ellesmere Island, is in the northernmost permanently inhabited location on Earth. Situated roughly 500 miles from the North Pole, this remote Canadian outpost exists primarily to facilitate scientific research and military operations. The area gained its name from the HMS Alert, a British Royal Navy vessel that wintered nearby during a polar expedition in 1875 and 76. Over the decades, explorers such as Robert Peary passed through the region during attempts to reach the North Pole. However, the modern settlement was established in the 1950s as Canadian Air Force Station Alert, a strategic military listening post during the Cold War. In 1986, the Dr. Neil Trivett Global Atmosphere Watch Observatory was constructed here to expand atmospheric monitoring capabilities. This facility, located about 3.5 miles from the main station, is part of the global network of observatories that track unparalleled insights into the Earth's atmosphere. With no permanent residents, the population here consists of rotating personnel serving 3 to 6 month assignments. These include military staff at CFS Alert and scientists working at the observatory. Extreme isolation defines life here, with limited access to the outside world except for occasional supply flights. Winter temperatures often plunge below negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and the sun disappears entirely for several months during the polar night. These conditions demand careful planning for both daily operations and long-term projects. Number 10. Qanuq, Greenland. Qanuq's history is a story of displacement. In the early 1950s, the United States Air Force sought to establish a strategic base in the Arctic during the Cold War, primarily for radar and missile defense. The U.S. chose the area around Thule, Greenland, to build what would become the Thule Air Base, the northernmost U.S. military base. The local Inuit population would station IS-18, which is operated by the Danish Meteorological Institute, and forms part of the international monitoring system managed by the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. The IS-18 station here in Qanuq monitors low-frequency sound waves known as infrasound, which are preceded by a variety of events, including nuclear explosions, meteor impacts, and even large volcanic eruptions. The data collected here helps scientists distinguish between naturally happening events and man-made activities, making Qanuq a key player in international efforts to prevent nuclear testing. The data collected here is sent to global institutions such as the CTBTO and the Danish Meteorological Institute, where it's analyzed alongside data from other monitoring stations. This global network allows for a real-time detection of nuclear testing, seismic activity, volcanic eruptions, and major events. Number 9. Utqiagvik, Alaska. Utqiagvik, formerly known as Barrow in Alaska, is a environment. Since then, Utqiagvik has grown into one of the most important centers for Arctic research. The Barrow Arctic Research Center and the Barrow Environmental Observatory, managed by UIC Science, are among the most notable facilities here. They focus on Arctic marine biology, permafrost, indigenous cultures, and climate change, critical studies as this region warms at twice the global average. The town itself is located on the Arctic coastal plain, surrounded by tundra and wetlands. Its landscape is a mix of grass, moss, and sedge, and virtually all of its land is underlain by permafrost. This makes it an ideal location for studying the impacts of climate change on both the environment and wildlife. Animals like polar bears, Arctic foxes, and migratory birds pass through the region, and bowhead whales can often be seen during the spring migration. Research in Utqiagvik spans a wide range of disciplines. Projects focus on atmospheric chemistry, ecosystem dynamics, and large animal physiology, but climate change monitoring. Number 8. The Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station. Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station is a place that exists entirely for research, providing a hub for scientific inquiry at one of the most extreme locations on Earth. Situated at the southernmost point on the globe, 9,300 feet above sea level, it's isolated from the rest of the world, accessible only by air during certain months. The station, named after explorers Roald Amundsen and Robert Scott, who famously raced to reach the South Pole in the early 20th century, is a key center for research on geophysics, glaciology, and astronomy. The station's history dates back to about November 1956, when it was first built by the Navy Seabees as part of the United States' contribution to the International Geophysical Year. At that time, no permanent structures existed here, and human presence in Antarctica was limited to seasonal expeditions. What makes this place so unique is not just its location, but the environment it provides for research. The station is the only place on Earth where the sun and the study of cosmic phenomena, particularly through the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory and the South Pole Telescope, both of which rely on the station's clear, dry atmosphere. The station also hosts experiments in low-frequency astronomy and geophysics, all made possible by the station's extreme isolation and unique conditions. Though isolated, it's far from barren here. In the summer, the station supports up to 150 researchers and support staff. During the winter months, the station's population drops to around 50 individuals, often referred to as winter overs, who are cut off from the world outside until the arrival of the next flight months later. This isolation can be mentally and physically challenging, with the station fully self-sufficient, powered by 3 generators running on jet fuel. The winter months also serve their own rituals, such as the traditional viewing of The Thing, a set of films about isolation and survival in harsh conditions after the last flight leaves. Moving on to number 7, Pevek, Russia. Pevek, 20th century as a port for exporting minerals, a crucial step in supporting Russia's expanding northern sea route. Its position along the route made it an important hub for maritime trade and logistics in the region. The town's role, however, shifted dramatically during the Soviet era, when it became a site for uranium mining, often relying on forced labor from nearby gulags. The mining operations were short-lived, and as the Soviet Union collapsed, the mines became unprofitable, leading to a significant decline in the population. By the early 2000s, many of the original mines had closed, and the infrastructure that once supported Pevek began to decay. However, its importance didn't fade with the closure of the mines. In recent years, the town has found new significance as the location of Russia's first floating nuclear power plant. This floating plant is a cutting-edge solution to energy challenges in the Russian Arctic, and it's played a key role in revitalizing the town. The Akademik Lomonosov is the world's northernmost nuclear power station, and its presence in Pevek marks some roots. Pevek has emerged as a central hub for scientific research, energy development, and exploration. Number 6. Qaqortoq, Nunavut in Canada. Qaqortoq, or Resolute, located in Cornwallis Island in Nunavut, Canada, stands as an example of a remote settlement, serving as a critical hub for Arctic logistics, research, and exploration. Its significance lies not in its population, roughly 200 people, but in its unique role in scientific research. The town, known as Qaqortoq, meaning place with no dawn, reflects that extreme location. It's positioned near the northernmost part of the Northwest Passage, and it offers unparalleled access to the Arctic environment. The history of Resolute is inseparable from Canada's geopolitical and scientific interests. Established in 1953, the community's origins are tied to the High Arctic Relocation Policy, which aimed to assert Canadian sovereignty over the Arctic during the Cold War. The community's founding is often remembered as a different sites like the Houghton Crater, which has been studied for its potential to mimic conditions found on Mars, offering a vital platform for space agencies. The town's infrastructure is shaped by its research-oriented purpose. With few permanent residents and limited facilities, most buildings here are designed to support scientific work and Arctic survival. Though there are basic services, the population is highly transient, with researchers and scientists often arriving for specific projects before moving on to other locations. What makes Resolute truly unique, though, is its role in testing human survival in one of Earth's most extreme environments. The town itself is not a place for conventional living. It exists primarily to support research on Arctic conditions, polar explorations, and even Mars exploration. It's home to the northernmost weather station too, essential for monitoring Arctic climate change and serves as a vital waypoint for researchers. In a more practical sense, Resolute is important because of its strategic position as a staging ground for Arctic exploration, with a focus on tropical botany and agriculture. Established in 1925 by the United Fruit Company, it began as the Lancetia Agricultural Experimental Station, primarily to study the adaptability of bananas and plantains. Lancetia was designed with the goal of advancing knowledge about tropical crops and the agricultural potential of Central America. While it initially focused on banana production, its mission has expanded over the decades to include a diverse range of tropical plants and trees, many of which have been crucial for research in the areas like agriculture, horticulture, and ecological preservation. One part, the Arboretum, houses various tropical species from around the world. This area is particularly significant for its collection of plants, especially the 636 species of Asian plants that make it the largest of its kind in Mesoamerica. But one of the most striking features here is its natural bamboo tunnel, a rare and fascinating sight that adds a distinctive touch to the garden's otherwise scientific atmosphere. It's not really just though. His wife Dorothy passed away in 1932 after consuming unripe ackee fruit in the garden, marking a somber chapter in the garden's history. The garden is also a haven for bird watchers, with 331 species recorded in the area, ranging from year-round residents to migratory North American birds. But what sets it apart from other botanical gardens is its dual role as both an agricultural research station and a living, functional garden. The research conducted here doesn't stay confined to the laboratory. It's actively integrated into the landscape, making the garden a practical and functional space for ongoing experiments. The diverse microclimates, the experimental cultivation of various crops, and the active conservation efforts make Lancetia a unique and irreplaceable resource in the world of tropical botany. Number 4. McMurdo Station. McMurdo Station is a research hub located in the heart of Antarctica, a place built entirely for science and exploration. It's located on the volcanic rock of hut divers who operate the legendary Ivan the Terra bus and electricians, everyone working together to ensure that the station functions efficiently. The station has a unique, somewhat quirky character. There's a curling rink, a cafeteria serving comfort food from around the world, and even soft-serve ice cream. As the largest of its kind in Antarctica, McMurdo is a logistical marvel, supporting not only American scientists but also researchers from other countries. Over the years, McMurdo has supported critical research, including work on ice cores, penguin colonies, and the effects of a warming planet on local ecosystems. This station's history can be traced back to earlier explorations, notably when the British explorer Robert Falcon Scott set up camp near Hut Point in 1904. His original hut, stocked with supplies, still stands as a relic of early Antarctic expeditions. But McMurdo Station's isolation means that when you're there, it's not hard to feel the extremes of both the environment and the community. It's a place where everyone has a purpose, from research development built entirely with research and innovation in mind. It serves as a laboratory for sustainable living and a showcase for the latest advancements in renewable energy, clean technologies, and smart urban design. It's the home of the International Renewable Energy Agency, an intergovernmental organization focused on advancing global renewable energy initiatives. In addition to IRENA, the city hosts a range of institutions and companies that are at the forefront of technological innovation, including the Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence and Siemens Energy, whose headquarters in the city have set new benchmarks in energy-efficient design. The buildings, such as the Siemens Energy headquarters, are designed to minimize energy use using innovative techniques like automated shading systems and energy-efficient materials. Some buildings here also take advantage of the Venturi effect, channeling winds to cool down public spaces naturally. The city does also play a role in advancing fields like artificial intelligence, clean energy, and space. The city's free zone status offers business benefits such as 100% foreign ownership, zero personal income tax, and no import tariffs, encouraging a diverse range of companies to set up shop. By integrating solar energy, smart technologies, and a sustainable building practice into a cohesive urban ecosystem, Mastar City is positioning itself as a model for future cities around the world. Number 2. Pripyat. Pripyat, located in northern Ukraine near the border with Belarus, was founded on February 4, 1970 as a model city built entirely to support the nearby Chernobyl plant. Originally designed as the 9th Atomgrad, a type of closed city in the Soviet Union, Pripyat's purpose was to house the workers and scientists who operated and researched at the plant. Unlike many cities built for industrial purposes, Pripyat was created with a clear focus on scientific research and advancement, particularly related to nuclear energy. In its prime, Pripyat was a thriving community with a popular well-being of the scientific community living there. The most notable structure related to the city's focus on research is the Avangard Stadium, which played a role in the life of the community. The stadium, along with the nearby Azure swimming pool and amusement park, was part of the lifestyle for residents who lived in a city built with specific needs. In fact, Pripyat's development mirrored the Soviet ideology of harnessing nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, represented in a widely promoted slogan, "Peaceful Atom." What sets Pripyat apart from other abandoned cities, though, is the sense of it being frozen in time. The city, now largely abandoned, remains almost exactly as it was in 1986. The Ferris wheel, which was scheduled to open just days after the disaster, stands as a haunting symbol of what was lost. The once thriving sports and cultural complexes are now empty and overgrown. The structures are not merely remnants of an urban landscape, they are physical representations of an entire lifestyle built around nuclear research and meant serves as a cautionary tale. And its eerie stillness offers a glimpse into a chapter of history that is, thankfully, unlikely to be repeated anywhere else. Number 1. Green Bank, West Virginia. Green Bank, West Virginia is a small, remote community located in the Allegheny Mountains nestled within the Potomac Highlands. Despite its quaint size, with a population of just 141 as of 2020, Green Bank holds a significant place in scientific research, especially in the field of radio astronomy. The town's primary distinction comes from being situated within a National Radio Quiet Zone, a 13,000 square mile area that enforces strict restrictions on radio transmissions, making it one of the quietest places on Earth. The observatory here, housing the Green Bank Telescope, the world's largest fully steerable radio telescope, has been a critical site for studying invisible energy waves including black holes, gravitational waves, and radiation belts, since its establishment in the effects of modern wireless tech. The region's remote and quiet nature has also attracted groups interested in escaping the more chaotic, digitally connected world. In 1961, it was here that Frank Drake presented the Drake equation, a mathematical formula developed to estimate the number of potentially detectable extraterrestrial civilizations in our galaxy. While the observatory no longer operates under the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, its research continues to be at the forefront of astrophysical study. The enforcement of the zone's rules has fallen to individuals like Wesley Sizemore, who for over 20 years was responsible for ensuring that the radio silence was maintained. His duties included tracking down sources of interference, which could range from malfunctioning electronic devices like electric blankets to more serious violations. His role made him both a guardian of scientific research and a figure of local folklore, with stories of his visits to homes where he would instruct residents to turn off their microwave